I'm gonna bail off on that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bail off on that. Okay, we'll just throw some music over in post. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, straight into it. What's happening, everybody? It's your boy DaDadoh, aka Bryan Preston. We back with Before the Show Live. I'm here with my co-host Swish Buckets. He had 98 miles a day, and we got the big homie Ameer. What's happening, Ameer?
I'm hanging in here, man. I'm chilling.
Hell yeah.
I'm out here.
Hell yeah. For the people who don't know Ameer, I known Ameer, I'd probably say 10 years now. It's been like 10 years.
For sure. Absolutely.
Somebody messed up and let me work at Best Buy at one point in time. And that's where we met.
Right. Yep.
A lot of us met, from Benny, Rosa, a lot of people that's been on the show and will be on the show.
Yeah.
A lot of good people at the bar, man.
Absolutely.
For sure. But Ameer is one of the most consistent followers of cons and just good movies and games. And
it's a gift and a curse, man.
A
gift and a curse.
And a curse.
Absolutely.
You I think you may not, I don't know, do you still work in gaming?
So I supervise it now.
Nice.
So I still go over there and I dabble. Still sell and, talk about it if people have questions and stuff like that. Yeah. But I'm still a gamer myself.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Always. I'll be that old dude still hunting for games.
I mean,
games.
I imagine the midnight release is dead, but that was always one of my favorite things about working.
Yeah, they gotta, when it came to midnight releases, it was a culture.
Yeah. And
then it was big. Halo,
yes,
probably some of the biggest ones.
The Call of Duties. And then just maybe past 4 or 5 years, it just died off, man. Yeah, everything
because you could buy games now. It's like 9 p.m. Thursday night.
Yeah,
there's no more midnight. Even with movies, you go see a movie, it's Thursday night. It's not a midnight thing anymore. That's no waiting in line for 12 hours.
Yeah. I've been going to. I went to see Shang-Chi.
Oh, for sure.
On Thursday at like 7 or something like that.
Yeah, for real. That's the same. Went that night, and it's just like, I remember the last midnight movie I waited for was, Iron Man 3.
Okay.
And that was like the last like midnight, because ever since then they're like, come see the movie Thursday.
That's crazy.
Like, Thursday. All right. I was just like, all right, Thursday.
Me and my boy Frank, we always talk about how the midnight movie was it was a culture,
for sure. 100%.
And it's over.
I remember my mom took me to that third Harry Potter movie.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
She was more into it than me, but it was cool.
Yeah, listen, I think when the last Harry Potter movie came out, I was at Game Crazy in Fountain Hills, and I had a couple people working for me, and they drove up to Flagstaff because there was like a Harry Potter midnight whatever book signing and then the movie.
Wow.
So I remember when that was huge, and I mean, they don't do anything like that anymore. There's no big come get your book, come watch the movie afterwards. There's none of that.
So crazy.
It is nuts.
I definitely want to get into movies here in a second, but I do want to get into the Monopoly collection.
Man. Okay.
The Monopoly, a lot of people don't know this. I'm pretty sure. Have you reached out to Guinness yet? Or
No. Listen, so the crazy thing is there is a Guinness record holder.
Wow.
And he has 3,100 Monopolies.
Oh, wow.
He's from somewhere overseas, but he buys different countries, versions. I mean, everything. It don't matter. Soccer, basketball. I'm not doing all that. I do specific theme ones.
Right.
Okay.
And, I try to keep it in line. I don't need this sports team, that sports team, the QVC channel Monopoly. I don't need that. But my obsession with Monopoly, maybe 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And so for my birthday at Dave & Buster's, Tempe.
Yeah.
Someone, it was actually my friend Crystal. She brought me a Marvel Monopoly.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, this is pretty dope. This is cool. And then I had another friend give me a Family Guy one. And I was like, okay. I opened the Family Guy one. I bought a Nintendo one and I opened that. But at the Marvel one, I looked at, I was like, I can't open this.
Mm-mm.
I was like, no, this is cool. I can't open this. And then next year, I got a couple more. And I was like, what if I start to collect these?
Yeah.
And just not open them. And year after year, I would just get more and more and more. And then maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I just started to go crazy. I was like, you know what? I need that one. I need that one.
Yeah.
And it just became an obsession. And I think I'm just under 70.
Okay.
All unopened.
Damn, that's legit.
Brand new. I got them displayed and listen, and I'm still going. Obviously, that's that. You know what I like about collecting Monopolies too is it's unique.
Mm-hmm.
Even though there's, a Guinness record holder, whatever, I don't know anybody who collects Monopolies personally in Arizona. None of my friends. I mean, I know friends, I have a couple.
Mm-hmm.
But, I go to conventions and stuff like that. They'll be like, oh, yeah, it's the Monopoly guy.
Oh, hell yeah.
Let me show them the Monopoly. This is the Monopoly guy. I just went to the toy show in Glendale.
Yeah.
And went to a booth. Haven't seen this couple in 2 years because the pandemic was going on and everyone's inside. No conventions, no shows, none of that. And they remember me. She was like, I remember you. And I was like, I think I remember you, but I don't. It didn't click. And then her husband walked up. Oh, I remember. I was like, oh, shit. Yeah, I remember them.
Yeah.
And then she had the John Deere whatever Monopoly. And he's like, I bet you haven't seen that before. I was like, no, I haven't. I haven't. And it was cool because even though I didn't buy that Monopoly, just the interaction with people and them just, that connection.
Yeah.
2 years, haven't seen them in 2 years, and they remember me because of a conversation of Monopoly and talking about Monopoly. So it was pretty legit, but it's becoming a thing.
Mm-hmm.
People ask me about it at work. Oh, you collect Monopolies? And it's becoming a thing on its own, and it's probably my favorite thing to collect because it's different.
Yeah.
Because I also collect movies. I do video games. I do comics. But I know so many people that do that. Monopoly is its own beast.
Yo, what's the most interesting or I guess rare?
Wow. Those earlier ones that I got are rare. Like that Marvel one is hot because they don't make it anymore. Marvel is the biggest thing in the world right now. I have a Disney Villains one that came out 10 years ago. Can't buy that version anymore. Indiana Jones with the wood crate is one of my favorites. I got so many that are just, you can't buy anymore. The original Simpsons version, listen, they release, with Monopoly, they'll release versions later on. And you can tell, if I were to show you one of my originals, they're in like the rectangular box. And, the colors are bright. You go look at Walmart right now, cardboard box, no plastic on it, edges all rough. No.
It really speaks to an era.
It is. Yeah. And it's hey, we get these boards out there cheap. People buy them, they're $25. Monopolies were $40, always $40. Now they're $20, $25.
Wow.
I could tell you just the quality.
Yeah.
And listen, even the way they flip the board, it used to just be, two sides flipped together.
Yeah.
Now it's four sides.
Yeah, it's a square now,
it just
right?
ruins it. It just doesn't look good. So even if I were to open them, I would be like, I don't want to play this. It just, the quality is just not the same. So
do you just collect like official Monopolies or the Opoly?
Official.
Also? Okay.
Don't do the Opolis. Listen, someone sent me a picture 2 weeks ago and they were like, yo, there's this Mesa Opoly. I was like, Mesa Opoly? And I was like, no, listen. If it says Opoly at the end, I don't want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, see, I know. There's a difference.
What's the one we just saw?
We were in Bisbee. They had Bisbee Opoly.
No, Bisbee. And first of all, Bisbee, like, come on now.
Yeah.
I was like, no. Yeah, if it has that Opoly on it, That is like that. That's the second. No. We don't want that second tier stuff, man.
Only like Parker Brothers.
Absolutely.
official.
Parker Brothers, Hasbro. You got to have the Monopoly guy, like
Boom.
official. We're not doing the Mesa, Tempe,
Monopoly.
Grand Canyonopoly. No. So no, I don't do that.
I'm wondering where those started. Who was the first guy who was like, you know what? We could just turn our town into a Monopoly,
Right.
right? Like,
Right.
a genius.
Yeah.
A true genius.
It's just, listen, they put it out there like, yeah, everyone plays Monopoly. And they're like, well, what about Bisbee Monopoly? It's like, no, come on now.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're thinking, but listen. I don't mess with the Opolis. I do not.
You're just trying to scam Airbnb owners.
Right.
To buying it.
Absolutely.
I frequent cons when I can. I sometimes notice that we go to the same one. I just never see you at them.
Listen, I'm there.
I'm there.
I'm all over. I mean, you see my social media, like I'm there. I mean, like I said, I just went to the toy show.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing a winter one later this month in Glendale. Hopefully I'll get to go to that. But I'm there, man.
I think there was one in Tucson recently.
Yeah, the Tucson one's a big one.
Gotcha.
Even though I'm not listen, that's the only excuse I need to go to Tucson, because I would normally I'm like, Tucson, I don't really want to go to Tucson, but I'll go there for that. And I think I went 2 years ago. I think that was the last big one they did. They might have done one this year. I didn't go to that.
Yeah.
But I mean, they keep pushing back Fan Fusion, I should say. Fusion.
Don't say the other thing.
I know, Fan Fusion. We can't say they pushed that back from January to May. So,
wow.
And ZapCon, the pinball one. Did you go to the pinball?
No.
Listen,
look, so you know me.
bro.
You already know me. You know where I be,
bro. So, if I'm gonna list my favorite conventions,
yes,
ZapCon. So it's a classic pinball and arcade convention, and it's a small. It's at the Mesa Convention Center. Okay. Just that's a small venue inside their main hall, and probably my favorite convention because they have pinball machines from the 70s, the 80s. I mean, you can walk in there and see those old, rickety machines that are barely hanging on. And then you walk in and see like the Elvira one from the 80s, the Terminator one from the 90s. And that is probably my favorite convention just because it reminds me of childhood. Going to the liquor store where they had literally a little arcade section on the side, and it takes you back, of that culture in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Where arcades ruled all.
I'm a big fan of Cruising USA.
90s. Oh yeah.
Give me some X-Men with the Ford. Give me but pinball though is
100%.
It's hands down the best.
Pinball is a lost art because it's one of those things where you can't, with arcade games, you can create the experience on a video game machine. Like I could play Street Fighter in the arcade, and sure it's not the same, but I could still play it on the console and be like, yo, this is dope. Try to play pinball on an Xbox or a PlayStation. Not the same.
It's definitely
There's no like joystick setup you can get for that.
It's not the same. The whole experience of pinball is to get up on the cabinet, shake the cabinet, and like actually play it.
Yeah.
It's not you can't create that experience. So pinball is one of those things where it's like you have to do it like in person. You have to feel the machine. You can't. It's not the same as.
I don't think it's called GameWorks anymore, but
no, Tilt.
Yes, they got a good little collection.
They do.
Electric Bat Arcade.
Yes.
Yes. Tempe and the Yucca is really
Starfighters.
Good. Yeah, I think they're down in Mesa. Or
Starfighters, I believe, is downtown Phoenix.
Okay.
You have my god,
that one that's all the way out there.
You have one in Mesa, which is it in-game? I think it's in-game. There's
okay,
one out there.
There's in-game.
I still haven't been there.
Yeah, we used to go to the old in-game. That was a mill.
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I've been there,
absolutely. And then, I mean, you have places like Cobra, which is, I say, is more of a club vibe than it is.
Than video games.
No, if you walk in there, it's a club.
Yeah, it is.
You don't go there to play games. You go to show off a little bit. And yeah, they got Street Fighter if you want to play.
Right.
It's not.
It's the accessory to the experience, not the experience.
It's a club.
Have you been to the Pinball Museum in Vegas?
I have.
Yes, so have I.
Hall of
my
Fame,
friend loves that place.
Hall of Fame pinball. Yeah, man. That is every time I go to Vegas, I make it apparent to stop in there.
Yes,
I have to.
Got to get a little popcorn in the machine.
Man. And they got another little spot out in Vegas called Insert Coins, right down the street from Fremont, and not a lot of pinball, but it's more arcade machines. Nice. Amazing. Amazing.
I love Fremont. I gotta check that out.
Yo, Fremont is the life of Vegas.
Agreed.
Anyone goes, it's the life of Vegas, 100%.
A friend, a very close friend of mine, says that Vegas is just stuck in the 2000s.
It is. I've never heard that, but that is honestly that makes sense.
Especially Fremont Street. It is just all VH1, like up 100%. And down the block.
100%. It is wild.
Obviously there's a collector's marketplace. Love that place. Yep. I just want to shout out Polar Bears. Have you been to Polar Bears?
No, I have not.
Stuff I had been looking for a long time at Polar Bears, right up on Scottsdale Road, next to Zusakaya.
Which I've heard. I've heard it's a nice little spot.
After this, I got to show you some stuff I got from there for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, movies though. Let's get into the movies. Yes. We missed the midnight premieres. I don't think you've missed a movie. Have you missed a movie?
Oh man. Let me see. Honestly, last year was rough because the theaters were closed for 7 months?
In other states. I don't know about here though.
Yeah, listen, in other in Arizona, was like, they were closed here for a minute. Other states were like shut down for the whole year. Here they were closed 6 months, 7 months, and that was rough.
Yeah.
I live in the theater. So watching, it was a crazy concept to me. They're like, yo, a new movie. You can stream this brand new Disney movie on TV at home. And it's like, no, what? Because Disney, that's the biggest media company. They make their money on you going to the theaters.
That's right.
So it was crazy watching like Onward, which was like the last Pixar movie right before the pandemic hit. And it was like, damn, this movie was just in the theater. I saw it a week ago. And I was like, nope, at your house. And then just going month after month, just watching stuff at home was weird. And then Tenet was the first movie that I came back to. Theaters were open.
Yeah.
Labor Day weekend, I believe, of 2020. And yeah, I'm pretty sure I shed a tear. I was like, what the hell? Because I never thought of a world without being in the theater. And it was just a weird thing, but it was cool. And then after that, I was in there like every week. And then we hit a point where they just had no more movies to show because studios weren't making movies.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, yo, we're shut down. You know, coronavirus is shutting sets down.
Yeah.
And they couldn't film, and it was just like, damn, there's no movie. So I'm watching Goonies for the 4th time at Alamo, which is not Alamo anymore. It's Majestic
really?
Theater. Shout out to them. So yeah, I watched Goonies probably like 2 or 3 times there, and then I watched Coming to America, and I was like, man, I got this stuff at home. Let me just stay at home until they put some movies, new movies in the theaters. So, but since then, man, I hit the theaters. Like even now. Shang-Chi, which I'm glad they did that theaters only.
Yeah,
I'm all for theaters only.
They messed up our homie ScarJo.
Oh, right ScarJo got the hose.
They're not making that mistake.
No, they're not doing that again. But even if it's on like the new Dune movie is going to be on HBO Max in theaters, I'm going to the theaters.
Yeah,
the new Halloween movie is going to be on Peacock in theaters. Wow. I'm gonna see it in the theaters. So I always promote the theaters first.
My buddy Frank, he's super worried that they're not going to spend those budgets anymore because, they're doing a lot of great stuff with Loki. They're doing a lot of great stuff with Captain America and Winter Soldier.
Right.
And it's like, do they have to spend that money anymore?
And what's crazy is that the sooner these studios figure out that we don't have to put in as much as we used to, because look, especially on the theater front, studios only get 60% of the profit. But if Disney puts Shang-Chi on Disney Plus, 100% of the profits.
Yeah.
So at some point, when are we going to get to the point where they're like, what do we need the theaters for?
Yeah.
What do we need to spend $200 million to promote these in the theaters just so people can go out, when we can just, hey, here's your living room. Or they can just be like, okay, we'll put it in Majestic for 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
And at home after that.
Boom.
So I am afraid of that. And it's becoming more evident that will probably be the future, unfortunately. But until then, man, I'm gonna ride the wheels till they fall off.
That's right.
I mean,
these are the last. Almost feel. I'm glad we're having this conversation. These kind of do feel like the last days of.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't love movie theaters, but
yeah.
now, like, when I think about it now, like, if you're really trying to watch a movie and you don't have a good setup at home, what are you gonna do? That's not the same watching it on your phone,
right? And honestly, I know people that don't like the theaters in terms of, well, depending on where you're going, like. Going to AMC and going to Majestic is a completely opposite experience. AMC, seats grimy, chairs sticky, and it's just, you go into Majestic and it's like, oh, it's clean, people are friendly, and just there's just a different, you go for the experience.
Yeah, it's definitely unique.
The unique experience. And dine-in obviously is probably the biggest saving grace to theaters right now, because I don't know if they can make it just the old AMC where it's just like, yeah, let's go in and watch a movie and be done. No, you want to go in and you want to eat, you want to have the little special pre-show, and you want to talk to people. So that's really the saving grace for them. But I mean, they gotta have studios back them up, and Disney being who they are.
Yep.
As soon as they fall off, that's it. So as long as they keep promoting and doing stuff like Shang-Chi, where they're theaters first, thanks to Scarlett Johansson, they'll be okay for the time being. But I don't know where it's going to be headed after this.
My homie, he loves to go to movies, but he's also a big pirater. And he
right.
He's like, why are you going to Disneyland? I was like, they need my money.
Right.
Right. I'm single-handedly trying to save the cinema industry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's just, Disneyland is just a big movie.
It is. It is.
Studio.
And
honestly,
I had a conversation with someone about Disneyland the other day. They were like, you prefer going to Disneyland over Six Flags? Six Flags has the rides, and you go for the rides. Disney, you go for the experience.
That's right.
You're not going for it. Listen, there's so many times I could ride Space Mountain.
Right.
And be like, Space Mountain doesn't excite me anymore.
No.
It's walking around and getting my churro, seeing Donald and Goofy acting the fool.
Knowing you can leave your purse down and nobody's going to run away
no
with it.
one's going to run away with it. I
was really shocked about that, because this was my first vision. I was like, man.
Yeah. Oh, they don't play.
He was like, yeah, no one's broke here.
Exactly. Because you can't be. Listen, when a 2-day park hopper costs $400, you no one needs your purse.
Yeah, no.
They don't need your wallet.
No. It's fine.
So that's the difference.
That's Disneyland.
And like, we had a meeting the other day, and they're like, think of companies where you can walk in and there's a standard. Everything's clean. You look at the ground, you see trash. Think about Disneyland. You walk in their bathrooms, clean.
Oh my God. Yeah.
You walk around the park, no trash, nothing. I mean, it's sure you're going to have, someone walk into you or step on your foot, whatever. But there's a standard, and that's the difference between a Disneyland. Walk into Knott's Farm, you're going to see their damn, what is it called? Blueberry jam wrappers on the ground.
Yeah.
It's a completely different,
The infrastructure is not there.
It's not.
What's been some of your favorite movies of 2021?
Oh, 2021. Let's see. Oh my God. Man. You know what? Probably my favorite movie this year so far is Pig, the Nicolas Cage movie.
Okay.
Ooh, I still haven't seen that.
It's
much,
Nick Cage is, let's just call it what it is. He went from a Hollywood darling to just he's wild now.
Oh yeah,
and he's doing stuff. And listen, he has some bummers and he has some good ones.
Yeah.
But you can watch a movie like Mandy, which is just out there. I love it, but it's out there.
Yeah.
Pig is kind of that. It's different.
Yeah.
But it's artsy.
Okay.
And you know me, like I'm all about some good artsy stuff. I love my popcorn stuff. I love my Marvel movies. That's cool, but I live
good
for
Space Jam too.
Yeah, right. Oh man, that Space Jam. Don't get me on that. Oh man, listen, that was rough. That was a rough one.
That was not your favorite.
No, it was not. My least favorite this year, probably. Yeah, that was probably my least favorite. But I love a good artsy movie. But Pig is up there. Dude, I love Shang-Chi. If we're talking about Shang-Chi, I love Shang-Chi.
It gave me that spirit of Jackie Chan back.
Oh, 100%.
Rumble in the Bronx.
It felt like an old Shaw Brothers movie from the 70s. Those old Kung Fu movies. And Shang-Chi was great. I mean, there's just so much. I'm going to go see Venom this weekend.
Oh, that's this weekend?
That's this weekend.
I got to get my ticket.
So
Venom 2, right?
Venom 2.
Yeah. I was late to the Venom.
Yeah. I'm going to listen. Even though it's PG-13, you know, they have Carnage in it. You know, Carnage needs a little bit more, but that's fine. I'll give it a shot. But yeah, Pig is probably my favorite this year.
Nice.
That is probably my big, you know, I'll give Nick Cage some love for that because it was great.
What's the most anticipated of 2022 that is not the Batman?
Oh my God.
Because that is hands down the most anticipated for everyone.
Really big on, I am 100% on board for the Batman.
Batman.
Wow.
A lot of good stuff coming. We got Thor Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
We got...
I mean, I don't know what my most anticipated for that year is, but I will tell you this year.
Okay.
The Last Night in Soho, the new Edgar Wright horror movie. It's an Edgar Wright horror movie that's coming out. And Licorice Pizza, which is a new Paul Thomas Anderson movie that comes out.
Wow.
Like, those are probably my two biggest for this year. But next year, man, I don't know.
It's the Batman.
The Batman's, because I'm a Batman fan, so I can't say, you know, that is going to be, that's what I'm looking forward to.
So you're going to see it 3 or 4 times?
Let's see. So listen, The Dark Knight I saw, oh man, 4 times in theaters. And the one after that, the Dark Knight Return, or not the whatever it was called. God damn, I can't remember what it was called because I didn't like it as much with Bane and Catwoman and all them. I was like,
that voice.
It just wasn't for me. Like it because I'm a Batman fan, and just listening to Batman not have a Spanish accent just threw me off because you know. But this new Batman, Robert Pattinson, which people need to get off his back because Robert Pattinson, he can act.
Yes.
The dude can act.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to that, man. Like it's, you know, but listen, 2021's not over yet, and I'm gonna be there in the theaters this week, next week.
Spider-Man's coming,
man.
I think that's gonna be the biggest of the year.
Spider-Man, honestly, from a box office standpoint, that should blow the doors off. That has the most hype.
Yeah.
Especially if they bring our boy Toby and Garfield back.
There's no rules.
I mean, listen,
I'm hoping they bring Terrence Howard back.
Yo, that would be cool.
Like they go into another little dimension, and he's still Rhodey. And he's like, "What's up?" Like, man, give my man Terrence another shot, man.
Listen,
don't retcon Terrence.
Listen, if they do that, even if they give us like a Edward Norton Hulk appearance, you know what I mean?
I think we should get all that. Man, we need all that.
Come on,
bring it all back together.
Come
on, the Hulk I like.
They can do so much being in the multiverse now.
Yeah,
that it's not even funny. Like it's not even funny what they can do. It's crazy.
You typically give the movies because you have a ratings. You do give them ratings.
I do.
And they're mostly 3.5 stars most of the time.
Listen, they gotta. So when it comes to reviewing, I'm pretty harsh. Well, not. I mean,
I don't think you harsh.
Not too harsh, but
you seem pretty fair and balanced.
I'm fair. But you know, there's so much into rating movies. You can't. Like, I can watch Shang-Chi and give that 4 stars, which I did. But it's not the same as a 4-star, like, you know, movie like Training Day.
Yeah.
It's just different. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, Training Day is the better movie. Mm-hmm. But they're just you can't hold them on the same pedestal.
No.
So a lot of people ask me, oh, well, you gave 4 stars to this, but you only gave 4 stars to Black Widow or whatever it is. And I'm just like, well, Shang-Chi's better than Black Widow.
Oh, yeah.
But in the context of that movie, it could be, whatever it is. But I try to be fair. I don't have the same criteria for each movie. I can't watch a Nicolas Cage movie and, be like, okay, this is going to be an Oscar contender. But I try to be balanced. And I don't know if you've seen Malignant yet.
No. See, somebody told me it was bad. I went to their house and they was watching it.
Right.
And it was like, skip it.
Probably the most divisive movie this summer. I loved it. So here's the thing. Anytime a movie is really split down the middle, divisive, like, oh, we hate it or we love it, that's a good sign.
Yeah. Always
a good sign, because that means there's something in there that's, that's catching people's eyes, and there's something in there that's like, wow, really? What are we doing?
I can think of The Lighthouse being like
yep,
that.
I was going to say that.
I love The Lighthouse.
Me too.
I love The Lighthouse. And a lot of people hated it because it's so different.
Or hated you for suggesting they go see it.
I love The Lighthouse. They're like, yeah, someone told me about The Lighthouse. Like, when he was slinging the seagull and beating the seagull on the rocks, they were like, what the hell is that? I was like,
it's art.
That's art, man.
True.
I was like, that's art. And I love when people get divisive on movies because it creates dialogue.
Yeah.
Because when no one's talking about it, no one cares.
Yeah.
Right? Listen, when Black Widow came out, it was hot for, a week. Mm-hmm. And it was like, people are talking about the lawsuit more than the movie.
Yeah.
That's not a good sign.
No, it
is
not.
You know what I mean? So.
And I was rooting for her. I think the movie should have came out before Captain Marvel, but the Captain Marvel bubble was so huge. It's like,
it was.
You watched the 612 special about Marvel that's on
Disney
Disney
Plus? On Disney
Plus,
yes.
And they talk about the women. Oh my God, that episode was amazing.
Oh, it was good stuff, man. Like, I watched any of those documentaries I watched. And speaking of like Captain Marvel, another divisive movie for other reasons.
Right.
For political reasons. Which, listen, I tell people, if you can't go into a movie and, judge it based on what it is, if it's a political reason, oh, he said something about this person or about this group of people.
Right.
Just, you can't take that opinion seriously anymore. So that, whatever she said, which I do remember, we won't get into that.
No.
But that was huge. But again, that had Endgame to boost it, because I was leading up to Endgame. Whereas Black Widow, it's like, yeah, here's Black Widow. 10 years too late, but here she is.
Wow. So I feel so bad. You've been in a bunch of cons.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, what's the worst con or movie experience?
Oh, wow.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh man, let's see. Worst movie experience. So, I've never walked out of a movie before, believe it or not. The closest, The Last Airbender.
Okay.
The M. Night Shyamalan movie. Mm-hmm. I'm a fan, obviously, of the cartoon. And watching that, I was like, if I wasn't with my friends, I probably would have walked out. It was horrible. Honestly, just horrible. The worst con experience. Wow. Usually I have a good time at cons just because, the people I'm with.
Yep.
And the energy,
good vibes.
But probably the worst day at a con, I don't know if you remember when JDF, Jason David Frank, when the guy came in there, had the
oh yeah,
basically the attack.
Okay, yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
So that was probably the worst day from a vibe standpoint.
Yeah, definitely a vibe killer.
Because everyone was just off. It was, the rest of the weekend was fine.
And it changed a lot
It changed everything.
You couldn't bring knives or
nothing. So
fake guns.
Everyone was thrown off. And just from a vibe standpoint, it was the weirdest day at one of those conventions I've ever been to. And then when they try to get rid of the lanyards, they had little wristbands. I was like, oh, what are we doing? And it's just, So probably from a vibe standpoint, it was that day.
Yeah.
Easily that day.
Do you go see Tyler Perry films?
No. I'm gonna listen.
Midnight release for Medea goes to space.
And let me tell you something. So listen. So my mom, God rest her soul, she was a Tyler Perry fan from a play standpoint. She watches plays,
right?
And she loved his plays. I think the first Tyler Perry movie I watched was with her, which was Diary of a Mad Black Woman.
Absolutely.
I was like, that's all right, cool, fine. After that, I watched a couple, and I was like, oh man, I just couldn't. Every movie is about the struggle.
Yep.
About the pain.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, damn, Tyler,
it gives me Ernest vibe. Ernest Goes to Camp.
Yeah, it's just something, and I'm just like, look, it's cool. Look, I love him, Hey, giving some black actors a chance, that's cool. But
Tyler Perry Studios,
dope. Like they're doing big things, but damn, can we not have Taraji P. Henson crying in every movie? Like every movie, makeup, wig messed up.
I think he might have swapped her out for what's her name? Tiffany Haddish.
Haddish.
Yeah,
she got swapped out.
Somebody told me he was the Black Rupert Murdoch.
Yeah, it's always black women crying. I'm like, damn, can we do something? So I haven't seen a Tyler Perry movie in theaters. I don't think I've seen any in theaters. None.
The one I saw was Medea Goes to Jail, and I did walk out like a quarter in the film.
I just look.
It was so bad.
I can't. I
didn't even ask for my money back because I was a brother. I said, keep the money.
Keep the money.
It was an even exchange. I left.
I can't see it in theaters, but I support him. He's built an empire. That studio is legendary because everyone uses the studio now.
They do.
Marvel uses it. Everyone uses it. But I respect the hustle. I don't respect the movies, unfortunately.
What is your favorite kind of movie experience?
So my favorite, Game on Expo.
Oh yeah,
is the very first one they did, which was in 2016 or 17.
I think I played that actually.
You might like.
It's Melissa Joan Hart.
That very first one, because it was at the Mesa Convention Center.
Yep.
Tiny room.
Yep.
Packed with 1,000 people.
Yep.
And it was the first year, so he didn't know what he was. The guy. I know the guy who runs it, so he didn't quite have a. I don't want to say a game plan, but he, a lot
of stuff was sprawled out,
right? Everything
randomly.
was randomly placed, but the energy. They had the tournaments going on. The energy in that convention was some of the best energy I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone, kids, all the way up. I mean, there was a grandpa there with his probably his grandson. They were playing Street Fighter with each other. I was like, dope. This is dope. Tight. And just the energy and the vibe of that whole convention that year was special. That was just really special. Movie experience, wow. That's a good one because if I'm going to take it back to what really got me into movies, my mom got me into movies. She was a movie person. But if I had to hone down a moment, probably Jurassic Park in theaters.
You got to meet my homie Frank. He says the exact same thing.
Jurassic Park in theaters is one of the... I can't even explain, like... The water, when it's moving and the T-Rex is walking and you see the water shake.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Like, that made me fall in love with the theater experience.
So immersive. That scene is immersive.
It's the first movie I ever owned.
Wow.
That made me fall in love with the theater experience. And, my favorite movie of all time is Coming to America. Tied with Goonies, like 1A, 1B. Like that made me fall in love with just characters. Yeah. Because watching Eddie Murphy go back and forth, Randy Watson and, Prince Akeem.
Chocolate.
Sexual chocolate. That made me fall in love with characters. But the theater experience, Jurassic Park made me fall in love with the theater experience.
That's awesome.
100%.
You remember what else was in theaters at that time? Last Action Hero.
Yes. Yo, I love The Last Action Hero.
Me too. But
I love it.
It gets such a raw.
It
came out at the wrong time.
Oh man, it gets people disrespected all the time.
It's
which
meta.
I understand.
It's pretty meta.
I understand. Him on a horse on top of an elevator. Like, listen, I get it. It's crazy, but I love that movie, man. I love Arnold.
Yes.
I do. I love Arnold, man.
Oh, same.
Even his bad movies. He's like Van Damme. Even his bad movies are good movies.
Exactly.
Oh, I love Van Damme too.
I do too, man. Muscles from Brussels, man. I'm all about Van Damme.
I love Pumping Iron Arnold.
yes. When Arnold was bigger than life.
Yeah.
They tried to turn The Rock into that persona.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
The Rock is too nice.
Yeah.
Arnold is like a little bit of an asshole, but just a little bit.
Right. And The Rock is also too charming.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like Arnold had that bravado with him. Like he could say some one-liners that were charming, but he didn't have to crack a smile and do an eyebrow. No, The Rock is too charming to get that.
And it helps that he's like foreign too. That just adds a
for
level
sure.
to it.
Absolutely.
Man, this has been absolutely wonderful, man.
Yeah, man.
I definitely want to come back, have you on the show when Coming to America 3 come out.
Oh my God. We didn't even talk about Coming to America 2. Listen.
We don't need
And I'm going to say
no, you have
before
to.
I go, like, it's not a good movie. All right. It's not a good
Midnight
movie.
Train to Zamunda? You didn't.
It was not a good movie. But I still loved it just because I'm biased.
Yeah.
But man, it was
rough.
Oh,
I was like, is this Black Panther 2?
Right.
Yeah.
You know that meme of the guy with like the fucking, is this Black Panther 2?
Yeah.
Because Ryan Coogler was supposed to be on board, and he fell off.
Yeah, and I see why. I mean, like Zamunda was Wakanda before Wakanda,
That's right.
And then they made Coming to America 2. They're like, well, we'll do Wakanda Part 2.
I didn't know Zamunda was behind the Paramount
Yeah.
mountain. It's right on the other side of that.
Right, yeah.
I was a big shock.
Right. Absolutely.
And it's just one building?
It is, right? Right.
I'm not complaining. I'm
Right.
not complaining. Man, thank you so much for coming
I
by.
appreciate you guys, man. I appreciate you guys. This has been fun. This is awesome.
Yo, we will see you out at the cons. We will see you out at the premieres.
Yep.
And
hopefully this cricket is gone next time. Just keeping him because he's friends with our elephant.
He's our special guest now.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, y'all enjoy your week. Peace out.
TVLife Entertainment.